maybe it was a hint.
Ready? All right, I will call the, what is it, the November 3rd Moorhead Economic Development Authority meeting to order. There we go. Amy, can we get a roll call?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Members present today include Balco, Coda, Howell, Larson, Moore, Schofield, and Sobolik.
Right, are there any agenda amendments today?
We have no amendments at this time.
All right, we're looking to approve the September 8th meeting minutes.
Move to approve. Moore.
Do we have a second?
Second, Sobolik.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4, citizens to be heard. Stacia?
Hi, happy Monday. Stacia Seitzma, Executive Director of the Greater MBA. Since we were here last, we kind of had a lot going on. We revamped our Nonprofit Connect, and we had a great showing. It really turned out to be something that our nonprofits needed, which was great. The first one was at Radisson Blue, and we talked about AI. And last week we had it at DS Beverages, and we talked about board tips and tricks. So we had just under 20 people at each of those. So that was a great change. And then on October 2nd, we had our annual celebration. We had about just over 130 people there. It was a great opportunity to celebrate wins that our business community has had. We also rolled out our name change. So we're now the Greater MBA, and we have a new logo. So it just seemed like it was time to represent what the population of the MBA is. Moorhead will always be our roots and our home, but we're just welcoming in people from across the river. So that's what the MBA has been up to. Does anybody have any questions about it? Questions, comments, concerns? No? All right, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for always encouraging the MBA and what we're doing.
Stacia. Are there any commissioner reports? So, all right. Item 6, presentations. Derek, do you want to set this up? I think Lisa's going to talk for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. We're grateful to have our Moorhead communications team here, and I know Lisa will get into introductions and kind of share some things here too, but obviously with having a full service kind of in-house team, we've been able to do a lot more, and we thought it was worth bringing the team here to share some of the great work they've been doing. Obviously, I'll add some insight of how we've utilized the work from Downtown Moorhead Inc. as well as an EDA perspective. I know MBA and Greater MBA obviously have used it as well. So excited to have their team here and articulate kind of the good work that they're doing. So Lisa, I'll turn it over to you.
And this will be a tag team presentation. So Kelly and Caleb are on deck. Do we have the PowerPoint loaded? Okay. Okay. I'm Lisa Bodie. I'm the Governmental Affairs Director for the city, and we appreciate the opportunity to tell you about what we've been doing with the investment that the EDA makes in marketing Moorhead. And I go back a long time with the city, and I will tell you that the partnership between the city and the EDA for marketing goes back more than 30 years. We, for many years, used contracted services, and within the last 4 years, I would say, this is since we've had dedicated staffing model where Kelly and Caleb serve in the communications coordinator and marketing coordinator roles respectively. And we use EDA funds for marketing Moorhead. There's a lot more communication activity that goes on beyond what we'll talk about today that is not necessarily something we consider marketing. We do internal communications, we do legislative communications, and a number of other things as well. But we really respect the EDA's contribution, really dedicating it toward marketing the community. Kelly and Caleb are, I can't say enough good about them. And they are skilled, they are passionate, and they're driven to advance Moorhead in every way they can. And they're scrappy and energetic, and I think we get a tremendous value from the combination of the two of them. So with that, I think Kelly will handle parts of the presentation. We're going to kind of flip back and forth a little bit. But wanted you to hear from the entire team because they're doing wonderful work. And I think when you see the rest of the presentation, you will also, recognize that you're seeing this information over time. So they've kind of compiled the past year's work and wanted to give you an overview of that. So thank you all very much.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Kelly, and the first thing we're going to talk about is State of the Cities. So we kick off our year every year with our State of the Cities, which is a chamber event, and it's very exciting because we get to be in front of approximately 800 business leaders. And the presentation this past year, we got to bring a lot of awareness to our downtown projects. Ted Horan was one of our keynote speakers this year, so we got to do some kind of bonus content through that. And then Mayor Carlson did a lot of awareness about projects going on throughout the city, a lot of businesses going on, opening, just a lot of great things, a lot of awareness in Moorhead. And we're already working on this coming year's presentation, and we're excited to build up on everything that's been happening with new businesses again coming to Moorhead, businesses moving into new spaces in downtown and beyond, and the possibilities that we're creating in Moorhead. So we're very excited for our upcoming State of the Cities in January.
Hi, I'm Caleb. I'm going to just walk you through a little bit of what the attendees saw at this event. There's so much happening in Moorhead, and it's happening so quickly that it could just fly by and happen, and we want to really capture the moments, make sure the vision is very clear. So some of what they saw in the presentation were things like this that captured the new roads, new spaces for commercial and residential investment, new business growth, huge improvements here to transportation, thinking of the 11th Street underpass, improvements to civic spaces, again, new business growth, really trying to show them this because I think that excitement is what's going to drive more awareness of what's happening. It's going to drive the investment into the city. And so it's all very exciting. I'm very excited about it. I think that the presentation helped build on that excitement. Some of what we're doing is trying to share this excitement beyond this group at the State of the Cities, but bring it to the public as well and bring them into it. And one of the best places that we saw that happen were at all the events that happened over the last couple years. I'm gonna turn it back to Kelly here.
So our team also has the honor of putting together the city's large-scale events and celebrations, and in the last 12 months, we had a lot. You could almost call us the party planning committee because it felt like we were just constantly putting on great events and celebrations to recognize all of the happenings going on. So if you just want to take a look at this slide, we had the 11th Street Underpass for groundbreakings, the Loop, Romkey Park, and Matson Fields. Those were just groundbreakings. Then we had ribbon cuttings for the Rotary Natural Play Hill and Inclusive Playground. And for the Loop, we had the beam signing and the topping off ceremony. And I hope everyone was able to attend one, all, or a few of those. They were great events. And then with all of those, we'll have, ribbon cuttings at most of those, this coming year. So we're very exciting to be celebrating grand openings in 2026. With these events, we get an incredible amount of earned media and fantastic engagement on social media. People love seeing what's happening in Moorhead and all of the excitement that we're building up for these new amenities. We get wonderful attendance at the events, and the public is just very engaged with what we have going on. So it's really great. And turn it back over to Caleb.
Yeah, so in addition to these events, there's also a few more kind of just general public events where we're very proud of Moorhead and our residents are proud of Moorhead, and we want to build on that, really instilling that pride in Moorhead, because that turns into advocacy where the people who love Moorhead go out and they speak out, and they do some of the promoting work for Moorhead as well. So we had the 150 years of Moorhead that we created a medallion. I'm not sure if some of you have seen that or have those. But that was a big thing that we distributed out to city staff and boards, commissions, and then also at the parade too, just marking that moment. And then the Wings and Wheels 30 years and mural reveal, that's the Florence Klingensmith Airport, celebrating that as well. There was a really great turnout at that event, and we produced some stickers and some things to hand out and really mark that occasion. I wanted to talk quickly about some of the advertising and incentives that we promote. So we put out some full-page ads in the fall and spring editions of the Parade of Homes. There's about 7,000 that are printed for each event. They're distributed throughout all the Hornbachers, and they're at the event itself. The audience that attends these events are all inspired by what the perfect home looks like. So it kind of makes sense that we produce marketing that shows what the perfect hometown might look like and invite them to consider Moorhead. So we look at some of the Minnesota programs on one of the full-page ads, and the other ones, we're looking at some of those incentives. So we've got the welcome home passes, and we have the property tax rebate that we talk about, as well as featuring quotes that come directly from homeowners. So those quotes here, they talk about how Moorhead has great parks, strong knit community, the houses are more affordable, the city really cares about its residents. These quotes that come from the homeowners are something we try to include in our advertising as much as we can, just because there are so many reasons. And last year, we just want to highlight some of the reasons people are loving Moorhead. I was going to say that one of the reasons that people are loving Moorhead that's on the rise over this last year has to do with some of the growth happening on social media. A lot of good things happening there. I'm going to turn it over to Kelly to talk about that.
And we also get the inside spread on that ad booklet, so that's a really good space for us to be. But for social media, so if you're not following us, please do. There's a lot of great things happening. We've had a lot of growth in so many ways on social media in the last year and a half. For one, we now have Instagram, so look at us go. I really use this as an opportunity for storytelling. It's how people get their news now. So how can we take advantage of trying to show as much of our story as we can? So I share opportunities of how to live in Moorhead, how to work in and for Moorhead, build in Moorhead, visit Moorhead, and really just love Moorhead. I mean, I love Moorhead, so I'm going to share that as much as possible. And I really believe that people who are following us on social media also love Moorhead. So I try to take advantage of that as much as possible, and they are engaged. Our engagement was around 2 to 3 likes on a post before I took it over, and it's now in the hundreds. Our posts and videos are now seen by over 100,000 people. We also added about 2,000 to 3,000 followers on Facebook, which is very exciting, and our engagement in the last year was over 3.6 million, so it's been really great. Some important things to note is we are sharing about businesses in town, so some examples here that you can see on the screen. Buddy's Parfait opened up. A reel about More Than Words and the Spice Grill, and then a share about Quarts and Pints opening up. Some things to just note about that is when we're sharing about businesses, we're very cautious, and we're trying to be very fair. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. So there has to be a reason that we're doing it. We're not just gonna just be like, oh, you should go shop here, or you should go check this place out. There has to be a reason that we're doing it, so we're not just showing favoritism over one business over another. So maybe they're brand new in town. Maybe there's a really big event happening. There was that great collaboration event downtown this summer with Swing Barrel and the Armory and all those great places. So we did a share on that event. Just fun things like that. Or, maybe it's just really hard to get to your business because of construction. So we do posts like that. Other times, so we'll do those on our grid. Other times when we just see like a fun post, we'll just share it on our stories. And then the last thing I want to share with social media that just gets such great attention and engagement is our construction posts, which is actually important to businesses because it does show how to get to them. So when there are detours, we do try to include how to get to businesses. So like the 3rd Street closure would be an example, how to get to More Than Words. We did show a detour map to that. We've done videos to promote how to get to them. We point out certain businesses on maps and just try to engage as much as possible. And then this just shows our top engagement posts for the month. And as you can see, they're all construction. So people really like construction posts. Oh, one more slide, sorry. Yes. And then the last thing with social media is we do also share, collaboration within the city, which is really great to just show, we have great educational opportunities in our city. So come, send your kids here and then they can live here after. And then just look at how beautiful our city is. Here's a great reel of the river. Come check it out. Guess where we're at.
I will say too, for Kelly and Caleb and Lisa and team, so obviously the narrative and staying ahead of that with construction and just other things that are happening around our community, it's sometimes been out of our control. And I think they've done a great job of just staying ahead of that kind of, I'll just say rant of what can be negative of social media. So the fact that they're out there making these posts, sharing the information from the source or from the business, et cetera, has been great to just kind of settle some of that uneasiness that social media can create as well. Doesn't mean they don't get comments, but they do a great job with that.
Another place where we highlight what's happening in Moorhead is our annual development report. And we're in the process right now of gathering more information, gathering photos to share all the progress that has happened over the last year. And this is something that we work very heavily with community development on. They provide just a wealth of information for us regarding the building, the developing, and the business growth happening as we highlight that to help people become aware of what's happening and also see maybe some opportunities to invest. As we do this, all the slides that get shown here, these are all different pages in the development report. They also work as PowerPoint slides, and it's something that has been used to present on this subject by, I know Derek, you've used them, Amy, you have as well, the city manager and the mayor, and they just help businesses consider and to choose Moorhead. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about how you use those.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the group presented here too, this is probably one of the most critical pieces of information that we've used over the last few years. I know Sherry used it a lot, Stacia will use it. How we tell our story has always been questioned, I think, from a lot of the businesses, whether that's current or perspective as well. But showcasing, we're able to take, a larger presentation. I think last year, what was it, probably over 50 slides or close to 50 slides was the full report. But we're able to pull out, 8 to 10 different slides or even less for depending on who we're meeting with and really showcase what is actually happening in our community. So the permit numbers, how we're showing the values of increase, some of the imagery of just the change that's happening as well. And just, again, continuing to tell the story, because sometimes I think that gets lost with the narrative perspective. But we're going to continue to work with the communication team on just refining this, because I think depending on your audience, depending on who you're working with, this is just a great storytelling piece that we can continue to get out in front of as well.
I could add. So this isn't something that Moorhead has been doing for a long, long time either. This communication function is just 3 or 4 years old in terms of creating a function under Lisa's governmental affairs department, where Kelly and Caleb were brought in to really tell our story better so people see the value. And we're really starting to see it. So this development report, which we have people asking for now, they're already asking for it, is, are we going into our 4th year? Probably. Anyway, I'm just going to say we are, because I believe we are. But it's, the thing that I just kind of want to lift up with it is, it's not like, historically these have been things that have been in report, like the information has been there, right? But it's been on like a Word document that you have to read that doesn't really come. Like the way that you do your work is beautiful. It really draws you in, you could see it. You could see things happening. And so this really fuels that kind of growth and development that's happening in Moorhead. And it also helps us kind of grow that energy to help pay for these essential functions that people really expect. These are the emergency routes that police and fire can use to get to where they're going. The ability to flush the toilet, to turn the sink on. At the end of the day, the stuff, emptying garbages at the parks, all the stuff that we get to take kind of for granted that really help make these places special, and this place in Moorhead very special. So thanks for helping tell that story.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Derek.
If I can, I'll add one more too. I think as we continue to grow with this, I know in presenting a smaller version of our development reports and having a printable kind of layout for folks, or an email accessible report, a lot of our higher ed partners, whether they're recruiting prospective students, prospective staff, have a copy of some of this to be able to show stuff. Our hope is that, and I know we got some bankers on the panel here too, or on the authority, but commercial banking lenders, folks that are just having touch points with people that are curious about Moorhead or exploring Moorhead. These make a difference. It's amazing how many folks, even within our community, just don't know what's happening. And these are simple, they're effective, they have the visual perspective of it. But our hope is to get these in more community-facing businesses or partnerships with nonprofits, et cetera, to continue to help tell that story as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Derek. And yeah, I really do want to thank you for your work in promoting this, because it is so key to get the right information to the right people. And one of the places where we're doing that is we're getting information to our builders and realtors, and Lisa will talk about that.
So our marketing roots really go back to advancing Moorhead as a residential choice. And that was something that was always really supported by the EDA, because there was a direct connection between the number of rooftops in the community and customers for Moorhead businesses and students for our schools and all of the things that make a robust economic center. And I think between 2010 and 2020, with our 17% growth, I think that was a great place to focus and a great place to really take these limited resources and invest them. So one of the major stakeholders in advancing our work has been what used to be called the Home Builders Association of Fargo-Moorhead, now called the Building Industry Association of Fargo-Moorhead, and of the Red River Valley, excuse me. So one of the things that we've done that you may or may not be aware of, is, Minnesota requires contractor continuing education. And for the past many years, we've served as the sponsor for those continuing ed classes. And in fact, our building official has often served as a primary instructor for that work. And because of that relationship too, We get to add all the contractors that attend to our e-notification system and, keep them informed of our progress. So we've built that resource over time, and we get additional marketing opportunities through this partnership too. And we focus on the key messages. Caleb mentioned some of these key messages in his earlier remarks that we've shared in our advertisements. And I want you to know this is all research-based. We survey every person who buys a home in Moorhead every year, and we compile those results, and we look at trends, and we have great data over time, asking similar questions over time about what people value about Moorhead, what they'd like to see more of, and what they experienced in buying their home in Moorhead. So it's a very authentic message. So we can rely on this. The Home Builders Association has been a great partner in the Make Moorhead Home Property Tax rebate. Our school district and county, we can't thank them enough for participating in that rebate too, because it is a great value for people who are looking at building a home, and it gets them engaged in the community and serves as something we can offer that's even a little bit better than the offerings of surrounding communities. So that partner is critical with the BIA. And then realtor groups, again, we use that survey data. We use all the information that is gathered from throughout the year to share that message with realtors who are meeting directly with clients. There's a group that we're invited to every year. Mayor Carlson and I have gone the last few years, Realtors on a Mission, and it's metro area realtors that really have a goal of selling more properties, and we share as much information as we can to help them sell Moorhead. We're open to, and we have other realtor groups that we meet with too, and we're always open to more of those partnerships. So that, just highlighting a couple of those things that are really directed at growing Moorhead in from the residents out. When I first started doing this work, and people would ask me what was included in my job, and I'd say, well, residential recruitment. And I'd get a lot of head scratching and, well, what even is that? And people don't ask that question anymore. We know what we're doing, and they know what we're doing. So, and then this is just kind of one of the most special things about our work, my work here at the city, is recognizing the people that live here and do good deeds here, and that is the Moorhead Awards. And I would say of all of the expenses that we have, this is probably a really good bang for the buck in that we get so much earned media from the Moorhead Award, and it's very authentic and uniquely Moorhead, and the variety of people that live in our community and lifting them up makes them brand ambassadors for us too, and we've seen some incredible synergy and just a lot of really good feelings about this program. And we've been doing it for about 2.5 years now, and every story is a wonderful story. So it's a big part of our storytelling that we do at Moorhead. And then Kelly's gonna give you a little more information. And if, interrupt us if we're going on too much here.
So this last month, our team was able to announce the single largest gift to the city, which was incredibly exciting, with the Essentia Health donation to the Loop and the newly named Essentia Riverwalk. The Loop will be a 48,000 square foot multi-use public space. I'm sure you've heard all about that. And Essentia Health will be sponsoring the walking loop, to be known as the Essentia Health Walking Loop, which will be the track on the second floor that is open year-round and free and accessible for all in the community. And then included in the sponsorship is an outdoor walking space along the river corridor. So the Essentia Health River Walk will be a 1 mile stretch, which is basically just back here from Viking Ship Park to the natural play hill. So our team planned this media event and opened it to staff, allowing tours of the space along with the major announcement. We got an incredible, I think we had all of our media at the event, and then a great amount of social engagement, which was great. And then it was just fun to see all of our staff in the space and see that, I don't know, that like no one had really been there since, it had started. So it was great to see where everyone, or where the building was coming along. So that was really fun. And then it's just great to be able to plan these events and see hard work where donors are coming in and wanting to sponsor Moorhead. So it's very exciting. We're hoping to do a lot more of these. It's fun when we have, council meetings and we get to do I'm in announcements for the loop. So it's just great. We're very excited. And then next, we're going to talk about something that our team has been working really hard on. We're very excited to be working on it. And it's a collaboration, honestly, with all of our departments. And we can't wait to show it off with the community. It's our website.
And this is the final item on our list to talk about. So we'll be stepping away shortly, not taking more of your time. But yeah, the website is a very large undertaking. It is set to launch the spring of 2026. We have the site, so if you're looking at the screen on the very far left, that is our current website. Then the image to the right of that is what is proposed for the change in homepage and layout. And then on the far right there, we're talking about a landing page specifically for economic development, business growth. And so I'm gonna talk about that a little bit, but the change in website is largely driven by technical issues. The current website's no longer supported. It doesn't work very well on mobile. And so it needed to change for those reasons. But the changes that we're making, we wanted to go beyond technical. We wanted to be strategic in our changes. And so part of that, and I want to thank you for funds that we're using from marketing to allow us to unlock some extra design capabilities. That's going to allow us to create what should be a landing page type information source within the website, that we can start creating ad campaigns to drive traffic to this landing page, track the people who are coming in and moving out, and start developing that to be a really valuable resource for any business, a developer who is looking at investing in Moorhead. That landing page is something that will probably come after the launch of the website. So the website launches 2026 in the spring. And then after that, I think we'll start working with the economic development team to build out what that landing page looks like, so it's got the most valuable information possible. And then I would say by this time next year, I would say we've already started building some ads that are driving traffic here and testing those out. So that's what's coming up. Are there any questions about website or anything else that we've talked about today?
I'll just say really quickly, the website piece is critical too. Amy and I, obviously working with a lot of folks, it's hard to navigate the current system. We obviously have a lot of information. Cities have a lot of information to put out in general, but we've had, I can't even count the number of conversations with developers or prospective businesses that just don't know how to easily navigate where to find what we would think is simple information. So to have a landing page, to have something that we can pull straight out that's easy to comprehend is going to be critical for us just to continue to get the right information to folks that they can make decisions. Obviously, the biggest fear is that if it takes too long, are they going to know who to even contact to ask the question, or are they just going to bypass us altogether? So hopefully we'll see a lot more value in just having the right layout for us as well.
If I could add too, it's real easy to kind of take a look at what's been done and take this sort of victory lap. It's actually kind of fun, and we should do more of it, this kind of sort of celebration. But just thank you to the Economic Development Authority for the leadership and the trust in the team to kind of do this stuff. There is no way that we would be here talking like this with you, and this is one of the reasons we're actually sharing it with the EDA. The City Council hasn't even seen a lot of this stuff in this kind of manner yet, and that the reason is it's because of the trust that the Economic Development Authorities had in this economic development team. So as there's things that you see that you'd like to see more of, please be sure to share it. thanks for being willing to like be part of the vision, and then thanks to the team for being able to like establish these milestones so we can come back and say what's actually happening with the support.
Can I say one more thing too? Please sign up for e-notifications. I think that's something too that's going to be a lot more effective with the new website of just where to get to these things. But the community and the public can get so much more informed and on top of things by just signing up for those e-notifications. I don't think they need to be, they're not cumbersome by any means, but certainly being able to see the information from the source, like we talked about earlier on social media, is so important. So please sign up for e-notifications too.
All right. Are there any questions for Lisa, Kelly, or Caleb? Commissioner Moore.
Thank you. I don't actually have questions, but I just wanted to double down on some of the things that you discussed. I was able to be at the State of the Cities, and beautifully done. It was so well received to be in that room and to see Moorhead on display like that. I felt so proud, and I'm proud of you guys for all your hard work, and it was spectacular. Also, I was at LMC, the League of Minnesota Cities in Duluth, and the rooms were buzzing about Moorhead after the materials I know you guys worked hard on, put together, and Derek, you presented. You could feel it in the room. It was talked about. You could hear it. So this does make a difference. You are having a huge impact. I have used your materials with both community members and businesses when I've spoken with them, and I always get, oh, wow, and these are beautifully done. I mean, the feedback is phenomenal. So you guys are doing an incredible job. I see you both everywhere. I go in this community at all of the events. You work so hard and always have such great attitudes. So thank you, Lisa and Kelly and Caleb, for all the work you do. And last but not least, the work you're doing on social media, hilarious. I mean, it is, I laughed out loud at one of the most recent ones with the bridge situation. And I think that can be a really challenging platform. There is so much negativity, and the way you're handling it is perfect. I love it. So thank you so much for what you do.
Anyone else? Well, I want to thank Kelly and Caleb, Lisa a little bit, but they kind of did the heavy lifting. So wonderful information. I just had one question. What social platforms, can you just give us a list of all the social platforms the
It's
city has a
just
page for?
Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We're not too fancy. I'm too old for the TikTok.
Sounds great. Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to business items. Item 7A, we've got the 2026 budget we're looking to approve. I think we originally discussed this back in August with a preliminary budget. Derek or Amy, are there any comments you want to make on the budget here?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I can kick this one off. So as you had noted that we were, back in August, we looked at approving the maximum tax levy with the understanding that this amount could be reduced prior to its final adoption. This is a modest increase that is anticipated to be absorbed through the natural growth of the city, so it doesn't necessarily have a huge impact on our individual resident. In addition to the levy in the budget, you will see that there is a line item for interest earnings, and that amount is added to the total proposed budget. When we're looking at key changes in the 2026 budget over 2025, we're kind of lumping them into a couple major buckets. Those buckets, we're looking at our entrepreneurial services and downtown development. So when we go back to looking at what those key changes are, we're looking at an increase to our entrepreneurial support in the support of the Spark Center for Entrepreneurship, which is opening in the spring of 2026. That funding increase, as you can note in the report, is about $20,000 for a total of $40,000. That funding is for the curation and coordination, partnership development, and community engagement and funding strategies to support that. And specifically, we're looking at a contract for that for that space with the Luminary, and we are working with Laura Caroon to curate that space. So looking forward to working with Laura in the upcoming year and opening that space. It's super exciting. Also included under the entrepreneurial budget or bucket would be the West Central Minnesota SBDC, which is located in the M state. We're looking to increase their line item by $5,000 in support of what they are anticipating that they're going to be contributing to the Spark Center for Entrepreneurship, and specifically to increase services to Moorhead. Also,
Amy, can I add on that one? So I'll just say too, in the conversations we've had with Ian at the West Central SBDC, so we think there's a great partnership between the Luminary and the SBDC. SBDC does a great job of program development, so they got a lot of great resources that are coming out. One thing that we're finding is that obviously the space of where it's at, some of our entrepreneurs don't feel necessarily comfortable coming to a college campus and feeling like that's the environment that they're growing from. We hope because of that great programs that they support there, that there can be a direct tie with Laura and the Luminary and the Spark Center, that we can increase the attendance, having a space that's viable for those individuals to attend. Obviously grow the attendance list of what the SBDC provides as well, and just actually have a great space, I think, for SBDC to potentially have even a part-time or a weekly person there to interact with our small businesses and entrepreneurship development as well. So that's the increase there. We think that it's kind of a twofer in that, you know, Laura's going to be out there as our kind of marketing arm, our reach, if you want to call it. Still have some program obviously as well too, but certainly building off the great foundation that West Central SBDC has as well.
And for folks who may not know what SBDC means, it's Small Business Development Center. Mm-hmm.
all right, jumping right back into it, one of the line items that we're happy to support for professional services is a contract that we currently have with Downtown Moorhead, Inc. That contract has been in place now since 2018, I believe, with very modest increases within the year. So we're looking at just under $4,000 increase in order to keep our contract with Downtown Moorhead, Inc. and the great work that Derek Lapointe has been doing for us. And I think that we can all probably agree that that's money well spent. Also, that bucket supports downtown redevelopment and also citywide economic development. So it's a pretty wide bucket and is pretty deep, I guess. And the last item that I just want to kind of touch on would be lobbying. There's a modest increase in that also, probably mostly like just what we normally experience in contracts and negotiating contracts in that way. What I would say is that, you know, with the other line items are in general staying the same. So, you know, I didn't specifically call out marketing. I think that you saw today that our team is pretty great, and we're really excited to be in support of the work that they do and that the work that they do to help us do our jobs. So pretty happy about that support that we receive from them. And then lastly, we do have an area of our budget, that item that is net of reserves or expenditures that you'll see on the very bottom of the page. We usually call that out as a transfer to a direct transfer to reserves. I chose to show it slightly differently this way, just so you could see all of them across the line at the bottom. But that money is what we expect to use in direct support of downtown redevelopment and the projects that we hope to be seeing coming up in the very near future. Derek, did I miss stuff?
No, I thought you did a great job, Amy. I think, again, as we mentioned to it before, we haven't received a lot of questions from EDA members at this point in time. We would be obviously looking forward to entertaining a motion. You can see the approval timeline in your packet as well. The city will take up the final budget on, city council, sorry, will take that final budget on December 8th. So obviously in years past, and especially with not a lot of questions and comments, we've typically tried to wrap this up for EDA in November. Historically, we haven't had a lot of items in early December to obviously move past that meeting as well. So looking forward to your comments, questions, and potentially a motion.
All right, thanks, Amy. Thanks, Derek. Are there any questions for Amy or Derek on the 2026 preliminary budget? Is anyone willing to make a motion on the budget to approve it to a final?
I would be willing to make a motion to approve the budget. And one thing I want to say is just thank you very much. I know you gave us an extra month here, it seems like this year over last year, for taking a look at this. So we appreciate that extra time and the explanation and being so thorough. So I would like to make a motion to approve the budget.
First, is there a second?
I can second it. Sobolik.
Discussion?
So just a question. Do we know what is the balance? Is there a balance of the reserve fund right now?
There is a balance of the reserve fund, and I know in general what it is. I don't feel comfortable giving it, to the public without having that exact amount, but I can get that to you.
And just so we're aware, I think it should be as big as it possibly can be. So I'm not saying to hold it back. I'm saying get it in as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's north of $1 million.
Perfect. Thank you. That's plenty, or that's all I need.
Well, and I think too, it's worth mentioning as these funds come in and how they come in. So a lot of it we have to sustain the full budget just based on how the funds come into our EDA. But yeah, I would agree with Amy. We'll get the exact number out, but it's and to the EDA's credit, we've been putting as a max levy over the last few years here to help build our reserves. Certainly downtown can be a component of it, but we also know we have a lot of other bigger projects on the peripheral as well. We know that as legislation changes in Minnesota and other things, we have the ability then to respond with potential grants or incentives that we can kind of come with it too. So we'll get you that number, but we've been doing well in building up that reserves for a little bit of a protection as well.
Yeah, I don't need that. My point was get it as big as possible because I think there are some big things coming. So whatever we can get into it is very important.
So noted.
Right. Any other discussion? Okay, we have a first and a second to approve the 2026 EDA budget. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, Derek. Item 7B, we get to hear about your economic development report.
Just a few items here today worth noting. I was able to attend the annual celebration that the Chamber hosted this last week, celebrating Jeff Volk for Moore Engineering. I know Moore's done a lot of great work for Moorhead in the past as well, so it was great to connect with a lot of peers there. A couple things of note too. I know Kelly and team has mentioned the announcement of Essentia Health and that significant investment that they put into our walking loop and future endeavors around our downtown core, which we're so grateful for. I think as we push closer to winter, we've got still a lot of construction happening in that downtown site. So our hope is to continue to open up future roadways. I know in hearing an update from our engineering team this morning, we're getting closer on 3rd Street, so over by American Crystal Sugar. I know that can be an impactful area for movement. Our hope is to see maybe that open in the next few weeks here. The teams have been working fast and furious on that. Obviously, within the site itself, there's been a lot of movement of new pavement, new curb and gutter. There's some areas getting backfilled where old buildings were on the east side of downtown, the old city hall, I should say. So we're excited to obviously see those areas continue to fill in and continuing obviously to work with businesses and developers on what redevelopment and new development looks like in that area as well. I made note of a project here that I thought was worth mentioning, obviously, to our EDA members and the public. But on October 9th, I was asked to attend a small focus group for the More for 94 project. It's a DOT, Minnesota DOT project right now consulted by Bolton and Mink. They're focusing on Interstate I-94 improvements from 34th Street to the river. Obviously, we just had impacts on the bridge this past summer. This project wouldn't happen for a few more years out, but in most cases with a large kind of DOT project like this, they're using public engagement to quite a bit earlier than obviously when the project would happen. There's a survey online that I would encourage folks to take, put in your opinion. I will stress that my opinion when I was in this focus group is that there's options of expanding I-94. We obviously see 3 lanes over in the Fargo side. We have 2 lanes over in Moorhead. I know construction fatigue is real, but I think if we're going to do this project, we should expand that right away for as long as we possibly can and as far as we possibly can. So having less minimal impacts as we continue to move forward. So I know I expressed obviously an expansion of 3 lanes going from the river all the way to 34th Street, knowing that our hope is we're going to continue to grow, see more improvements, and that we should be building and accommodating for that growth as we continue into our future as well. So please take a look. I didn't link that survey on there, but I can certainly get that survey out to the board here as well. And please take some time to consider doing that. Lastly, I will say some good news, bad news. I don't know, however you want to look at 11th Street underpass, but as of October 30th, all lanes on First Avenue North are open. So that's a huge milestone in just getting some more east-west traffic on First Avenue North. Then we will have, we actually had last week, Main Avenue reopened in 1 lane each direction, which was great. So that's eastbound. I think full access going south on 11th Street will occur mid to late November. And then the last piece of that, obviously good news on First and Main, but Center Avenue will be closed between 10th and 14th Street this November, so probably mid-November here, and that'll be the final phase of the 11th Street underpass project. So obviously, as we've seen things open up, we know we have our last piece of closure coming. It would be great when this project is fully completed, and we know that it's impacted a lot of our businesses. So we encourage folks as this last phase is upon us to utilize those businesses on Center Avenue. We know there's going to be some navigation to get back there, but we've been having a great, I think, success and back and forth with those businesses along Center of just what the expectations are and how to promote. Obviously, we talked about the social media aspect, and those teams will continue to do a great job, but we know that will be a hard hit for some of those businesses as we enter into 2026. The hope is the project will be completed this time next year, which will be a great thing. With that, I'll pause for any questions.
Are there any questions for Derek? No questions.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Amy. And I guess item 8 for everybody here and or the public. If you're looking for information on the 11th Street underpass, more than what was provided, Downtown Moorhead Vision, info on the community center or regional library, or just general information on housing updates, we have links to all of that in the meeting agenda here. So with that, we will adjourn.
Thank you.